Well, good evening, everyone. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana weather. It is about 9 p.m. on Monday, and we've got a lot to talk about tonight in our video update. It's been a few days since I did one of these, and my apologies. The Christmas season gets hectic for all of us, and we've had a lot going on, but want to update you tonight primarily on the end of the week system that we are facing, and there's a lot of uncertainty with it. But I'll be able to show you some of the data and at least prepare you for what potentially could be coming tonight. But for tonight right now, nothing but pretty decently clear skies over us at the time. Nice temperatures. It's 9 p.m. It's already 37 still here at Huntingburg. It warmed up a little warmer than most of us expected today. The clouds cleared out a lot faster. To our north, there is a little clipper system moving through northern Indiana, but that should not affect those of us here in southern Indiana at all. So let me talk about the setup of what we're facing next week. Let me just get it back here and give you a little bit more of a perspective of everything. We're expecting a very wet weekend in store, and let me just sort of show you a few things here. Hold on just a second. Essentially what you'll have going on this week, let me just sort of explain the setup. We've got a big ridge of high pressure over in the Pacific Ocean over here, and what you're going to have is the jet stream is going to have to go around that ridge, and it's going to sort of take a nosedive down through the southern part of the country like this and eventually come up our way. And now there's another ridge of high pressure sort of out here that's going to keep us in the warm sector for a time, but eventually that cooler sector will come down, and essentially about on Thursday, where this jet stream starts to dip over here and move on shore for the first time, what it's going to do is spin an upper level low pressure system here, and that upper level low pressure system will eventually track the way up the jet stream and move into our location and will be our troublemaker for this weekend. So we'll take a look at that, and unfortunately the positioning of this low is going to determine what the precipitation type will be specifically on Sunday, and right now the precipitation type is very much in question, as we will see. So let me go ahead over to the model data and we will take a look at this. First we'll take a look at the European model, and I want to show you a couple of different runs of the European model just to show you this complicated setup. And let me get this here where I can fast forward it in time. This was the current run from this morning, and this evening's run is still processing right now, so I can't show it to you. There's that little clipper system moving to our north. It won't affect us here, and you see high pressure pretty much large and in charge most of this week. By the time we get into Thursday, though, here we are. Thursday, potentially some scattered showers moving in late on Thursday night and here into Friday early morning. That's when the rain really starts to come in. But then by Saturday, you notice the big rains start to come in. Here we are at 1 p.m. on Saturday. Heavy rains pushing up from the south. Here's that low pressure. It's formed out here. It's a little hard to see, but where it says 994, you can see a low pressure right in here. Now watch that slide up towards us, and let me advance this in time back to where we were. Here we go. The low pressure slides toward us. Notice it takes it right into really the Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky border, and then it moves it right up through Indiana. So it sort of takes it here, moves it through here, and of course with this run of the Euro, that would bring us mostly rain, although it would bring a pretty significant snow system onto the backside of it up towards Chicago area. And then as things move on further, we might see a little bit of flurries after that, but southern Indiana would largely be spared any snowy weather, as the precipitation would all be out before any of the cold weather could then infiltrate. But of course after that, in the really long range, you can see another little cold front and clipper system moving down, and it'll be questionable as to whether that will reach us or not, but that one is well far in advance. That's the latest Euro run, but if I just go back one run in time, I want you to notice something completely different here. And let me just sort of illustrate this for you. Remember, the Euro run from this morning developed this and took the low pressure more like this and then on up. And with that one, that would take the more accumulating snows up into here, as you see. But I want you to notice that this particular Euro run from last night has the low much further on us this way. And that will be significant as we go through this, and you'll see why here in a second. I'm at 180 hours. Let me just advance this in time a little bit. And notice all of a sudden with this, as this moves on further away, the blue lines are well over us. This is the cold air. That's the first one. Here's the rain-snow changeover line, and we've still got precipitation over us. And this would actually be an accumulating snowfall for us rather than a heavy rain event with this particular run of the Euro. Let me show you that visually in the snow models. Here's what the Euro run did last night. Before you freak out about these, notice that just one thing I want you to note, these are subject to change, and you will see why here in a second. This is what the Euro model did last night, and you notice that's a very significant snowfall, and you're talking 16 inches, 18 inches out here, a good 10, 12, 14 inches across northern Indiana. Very sharp cutoff gradient down here in the southern part of the state, but still a pretty significant snowfall. But watch what it did in the next model run. Largely gone from southern Indiana, and the significant stows are combined up into northern Indiana, and the Chicago area gets just absolutely hammered with the snow. So, and then if we do this morning's model run, this one actually was yesterday morning's model run, and that's what I was showing you over here on the one that was trending colder, and my apologies for that. Yesterday morning's model run, last night's model run, and then this morning's model run. And you see the heavier snows trend south just a little bit. Southern Indiana still largely spared in this. However, snows of epic proportions really up in northern Indiana. I mean, look at this, 24.4 inches up here in Kokomo. If I'm reading, well, actually, it'd be 22.5. Here's Kokomo right here, I believe. 24.3 up maybe around Fort Wayne and South Bend and some other places up in here. And just a very mild 1.5 here in Indianapolis. So you see, again, a very sharp cutoff with pretty much next to nothing. But notice about this one, I think this one's a little bit overdoing it, and we'll see what tonight's model run does. Unfortunately, it's still processing, so I can't show it to you right now. But just looking at the trends, it was there, it went back north, and it comes down here again. So what you can notice with this thing, and what I want you to understand, is that somewhere with this particular system moving in on Sunday, somebody is going to get hammered with a snowfall. Now, that could be us here in the southern and central portions of Indiana, or that could be the Chicago area and northern portions of Indiana. The reality is right now that is still very much up in the air, and we just don't know what's going to happen. It could be a very significant warm-up, or it could be a very significant cool-down. Much will have to be worked out in the models. And keep in mind, I showed you how the low pressure would form sort of on the Nevada area as the jet stream takes a dip. That doesn't form until Thursday from the way modeling looks. So unfortunately, I would suspect it's going to be Thursday or Friday before we start to get a better handle on this situation to really pinpoint. And until these storms form and we really get some actual upper air data to put into the models, it's going to be hard for the models to perform well on narrowing this down. Eventually, the Euro model within 3 or 4 days here should zero in on that corridor and probably stay consistently with an idea, because that's usually the way things happen with the Euro model. If I just show you the GFS, I want to show you this as well. And this was last night's GFS run, and you can see a little bit of snow for southern Indiana, but the big accumulating snows with central Indiana. The latest run also pushes that back north. So if you're a snow hater, then that's a good sign. If you're a snow lover, it's not a good sign. You can take whatever you believe with that. But again, the idea is both the GFS and the Euro model are pointing to a pretty significant snowfall somewhere in the region. It's just going to be a matter of who ends up getting it. And I can show you this real quick too. This is the precipitation type map from the GFS model, and this is the latest run that gives us pretty minimal snow and confines it up there. And notice that it does bring that low pressure pretty much right over us. Here's the low pressure on it, as you can see here. And again, the Euro model was in a similar vein. The latest Euro model takes it more like this, whereas the Euro model from yesterday tracked it more like this. Through here. And the reality is where that low tracks exactly is going to be the determining factor for us in whether we get snow or whether we get a big time warm-up. Let me illustrate that for you from temperatures. Now, this is the latest run of the Euro that showed. This is the one that's not showing a whole lot of snow for us. Check out this temperature. By 1 o'clock on Sunday, it's already got us warming to 54 degrees here in Huntingburg, 65 in Louisville. And the cold weather confined up here, again, where it's snowing. Now, let me show you the other run that I showed you from just 24 hours earlier, what the Euro was saying. And this is, remember, this is the one that confines most of the snows up to northern Indiana and keeps us as an all-rain event. 24 hours earlier, this is what the model was saying. And this is the one that brings snows of very decent size to central Indiana, with a sharp cutoff over us. It's got us at 38, and it's got 33 already down into Bloomington, and of course we'd be falling through this scenario. So again, temperature-wise with this, what's it going to do? Are we going to be in the 50s and 60s or Sunday, or are we going to be on the 30s on Sunday? That's a very wide temperature discrepancy right now, and it's hard to tell with that. On top of that, if you believe the GFS model right now, where it's talking about warming us into the 50s on Sunday with no snow and pushing the snow over towards that, I want to show you just a little bit about this. This is the low-level jet over us. And notice those winds are absolutely roaring. And if you go to the jet stream, again, the jet stream winds are absolutely roaring over us. Mid-level jet, same type of thing. We've seen these before as we've looked at for severe weather, and so you get what I'm talking about. Dew points, again, dew points surging to near 60 degrees with temperatures surging to near 60 degrees. We've got plenty of Gulf moisture being absolutely drilled up into us, so you've got plenty of things to work with. But the one thing that's lacking here is instability. You notice it does want to take just minor instability amounts, but not a whole lot. Point being, if you believe the GFS model, severe weather could be in play on Sunday rather than snow. So is it going to be snow? Is it going to be severe weather? Is it going to be a warm-up? Folks, right now we are, it's Monday. This is Sunday. We've got, what, a good 6 days before this event happens. A lot's going to work out in the models over the coming time. But right now, just a whole lot out there on the table. So point being, keep it right here to Southern Indiana weather. I will keep you updated with the latest thinking, and really that's about all that we can say about this right now. I'm not ready to make a call on this. Let me just put it this way. If you go to southernindianaweather.com, you can always get my 7-day forecast. I blew it today. I forecasted 36, which, mid-30s is what almost all of us meteorologists in the area were calling for, with sun and clouds. Those clouds, they cleared out way faster than we did. I'll admit I blew it today. We had a high of 47. I'm not complaining. I'll blow it in that any day. I was glad to see the clouds go and some of this snow melt off. But we do hit the 40s for the next couple of days. We start to go into the 50s on Thursday, even up to 57 on Friday. Rain likely on Thursday night and especially on Friday and Saturday. After that cold front passes, it's going to be much cooler with a high in the low 40s again Sunday. Now this forecast is what I generated this morning based off of the model data I had, where it was saying about 36 with a rain-snow mix for us. If I were to go off the latest model data, yeah, I certainly need to raise that into the 50s. But again, it's going to be back and forth, so I'm not even going to touch the forecast until tomorrow morning whenever I see the latest data. So here's the best thing that we can do with Sunday for now. Just scratch it and pretend it doesn't exist. It's a very complicated setup, and the reality is it could go either direction. So as you look at my 7-day forecast in coming days, you're going to see Sunday change a lot, unfortunately, is what I have a bad feeling on things. So keep it right here to Southern Indiana weather, and we will update you with our latest thinking, whether it is snow, whether it is severe weather, whether it is just a good warm-up with rain. We'll be right here to cover it for you. So if you have any questions, as always, feel free to post this in the comments. This will be posted on our Facebook page and on YouTube as well. You can always ask questions, and we love to answer those. So hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time. For Southern Indiana Weather, I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite. More updates to come, folks. Stay tuned.